the skyline of Istanbul, controlling the linkage between Asia and Europe. That's always been the case, starting with Byzantium under the Greeks as a trading post colony, and then already in the 2nd century AD, particularly with Septimius Severus, it is an important city. Then under Constantine, everything changes. It's refounded as New Rome, Constantinople, with churches, a forum with this magnificent porphyry column, palace, a hippodrome, 450 meters long, surrounded by walls. It had its own 7 hills, and it controlled the access along the Bosphorus. Constantine created New Rome, Constantinople, but by no means was he the only person to affect the skyline and leave his mark in this magnificent city.
Already in the 2nd century AD, the Emperor Hadrian is going to give Byzantium an aqueduct system. This is going to be superseded in Constantinople. And here behind me is one of many aqueduct bridges bringing in water from the source about 130 kilometers away into the heart of the city. This is the aqueduct of the Emperor Valens, and it's still standing.
Besides Valens aqueducts made in the 360s, you also have Theodosius, emperor from 379 to 392, that makes the Forum of Theodosius. Here the impressive marble remains still visible in the city, and he adds an obelisk to the Hippodrome, taken from Egypt, constructed by Pharaoh Thutmose III. This magnificent obelisk rests on a base depicting Theodosius himself in the Hippodrome during the games. Theodosius II is going to succeed Theodosius, and what he does is he builds the largest wall circuit around the city of Constantinople. They are so impressive, and these walls were not breached until the successful attack by the Ottoman Empire in 1453.
Staying on top of the massive wall circuit built by Theodosius II. Unbelievable. These are the walls that protected Constantinople from a land attack. And they are one of the greatest ancient monuments in the city of Istanbul today.
Amazingly, the column of the Emperor Marcian still stands tall in the city of Istanbul, going back to the middle of the 5th century AD. Everything but the statue.
In the young reign of Justinian, in the Hippodrome, we have the site of the horrific Nika riots. But Justinian rallied and secured his reign after this disaster.
Right here we've got the Sea of Istanbul coming right up against the walls. The walls of Constantinople, also part of the Palace of Bucaleon.
Besides taking care of his own palace, Justinian takes care of the city, and he builds massive cisterns, including this one, the famous Basilica cistern, which is enormous, using 336 columns. Then he turns to the rebuilding of the Hagia Sophia, which would burn down in the Nika riots, and what he builds is something for all the ages in architecture.
Now this is a structure that still dominates the landscape. The Hagia Sophia is a masterpiece, and you can see from here quite clearly the Justinian dome, and you can see how this 6th century church was converted into a mosque. 4 minarets still encircle the church. Today, it's a museum.
The Hagia Sophia of today is extraordinary. It's the 3rd one built on the site. The previous one had burned down in the fires from the riots, the Nika riots, and so Justinian, rightly so, rebuilt it. First in 537, but then the dome collapsed in 558, and he had to have it rebuilt, and that was completed in 562. What you see today stands 55 meters high. Another extraordinary gem from Istanbul, Constantinople, is after the Fourth Crusader sack of Constantinople in 1204, they brought back these gilded bronze horses from the Hippodrome to Venice, as well as the porphyry tetrarchic statue group, and embedded it right in San Marco Church. Some of the spoils give an idea of how magnificent ancient Constantinople was. Today, when we turn back to Istanbul, we can marvel at the city of Constantine, the city of Theodosius, the city of Justinian.